Your brain cannot distinguish from something that's real, that's actually happening in your life, and something that you visualize with a lot of detail and a lot of emotion. So this is a really, really big finding that we now know. There's a book on it, Psycho-Cybernetics, really recommend it. But you have to understand there's even like another layer to this, which I'll go into. And I had a video on visualizations. I don't think I had this deep of an understanding and actually how I can get the most bang for my buck. So with visualizations, you can basically shape your reality through your mind. It's super, super powerful, but I'll give you a few examples of how people do it wrong and how I did it wrong, like I'll admit, and how you can actually get, again, the most bang for your buck. The biggest thing that I learned is visualize actions and not end goals, not the results that you want, but rather the actions that will lead you there. This is super, super powerful. So instead of visualizing yourself in a Ferrari at 27 or with that girlfriend, and there's a time and a place for that, I think that's also super valuable, but not as much as you think. Really not as much as you think. And if you're putting aside 10 minutes like me in your day to visualize, which is a great amount of time, by the way, 5-10 minutes, sit down on your bed, lay down, visualize. I think you should be visualizing actions and not results. Let's go back a little bit. So there was a study in the book that I said, Psycho-Cybernetics. There was a study where they took participants that only visualized themselves doing free throws, and the other group, this group didn't do anything. They didn't actually physically practice, but they only visualized the action in their head. And there was another group that actually practiced every single day. And so they found almost like no difference between the group that visualized the free throws, like the action again, and the group that just every day went out and did more and more practice day in, day out. So there wasn't any difference, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. The power of the mind. There is a lot of power in your mind, and many people just don't understand. They're like, okay, this is wishy-washy, this is stupid, this is woo-woo. Like, it's not. Like, trust me, it's not. If you gravitate especially towards visualizing actions, you'll get a lot in your life. Like, it's so, so powerful. So what's an example of something that you can visualize where you can actually visualize action instead of end result? So for example, let's say you have a hard time at waking up in the morning. Every day you're snoozing the alarm and you find yourself waking up an hour later every single day. You're like, I don't know what to do. Yeah, maybe you can move your phone to the other room. That's possible. Or something that will give you more of a long-term change is visualizing the action needed to get there to where you want. So you don't want to snooze. You don't want to keep waking up late. So you visualize it in your brain thousands of times before, with emotion, as I said. Like, feel how it would feel in super, super crazy detail. Like, how is the sheet in your bed? Like, what color is it? How does it feel? Soft? Maybe it's really comfy in there and you don't want to get up. So those two factors are super important, because without it, it's not gonna feel real to your brain. So I told you, visualizing with those two kind of criteria, it's gonna feel so real to your brain. And imagine the power of doing it thousands of times before the real deal, before the real game, before waking up in the morning. So let's dive deep into this. What would you do if you needed to fix this? So what I would do is I would visualize every single morning, not only it working out and just myself, the action of getting out of bed and starting the day, but also something that people overlook many times is the negatives. You're in bed, it's super comfy, the sheets are blue, you feel like it's snowing outside, it's very comfy, and you don't want to get up. Like, you feel very negative towards getting up, and you're preparing yourself in your brain for that moment. That's why it's so powerful. You're like preparing it. You're preparing for the negative and for the positive. You're not just like, oh, I'll be in the Ferrari in 10 years. Like I think some of it is wishy-washy. I'm not saying there isn't power in that, but there's a lot of power in visualizing actions and also seeing the negatives and the positives. Like, visualize how difficult it's going to be and how you're going to overcome that, right? It's not just about it being all amazing. So visualize it being hard, like your phone is just ringing, you're so close to snoozing, but then you're like, no, I'm gonna start the day. And you visualize that millions of times, thousands of times. Imagine the power that has on your brain. Like, just try it yourself before you even have judgments about this. 10 minutes every single day is all you need. You sit down on your bed, or lay down is what I do. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and start visualizing the actions. Let's give you another example, right? Let's say many times you procrastinate on homework, on school, you don't study. You visualize yourself thousands of times in your brain overcoming that. Like, seeing how difficult the material is and how much you don't want to study, and you're playing video games, or you're on your phone, you're on Instagram, you're scrolling, and then you're like, wait, it's difficult. Like, it's not easy to study right now, but you're overcoming it. And then also see the positive, right? Like how easy it is to overcome that. But I want you to prepare mentally for every single kind of scenario. Or you can prepare a scenario of your friends telling you, oh, go play video games with us. Or your family calling you and telling you, you have to do this, and you're like, no, like, this is super important, I'm gonna study. But in my life, for example, I've had a very difficult time with recording and getting myself to sit down and record YouTube videos. And so instead of just being like, oh, you just gotta do it more, just do it, like, whatever, I'm visualizing myself sitting down. And I'm also visualizing how hard it is, how much friction there is to getting there. I'm looking at my phone and maybe there's a better thing to do right now. Or, oh, I should be doing this course, or I should be studying, or I should be doing that instead. But no, I know how much value there is to recording and sitting down and sharing my message with you guys, because that's what I want here. I'm overcoming that in my brain and practicing it. Just like you go to the gym, practice in your brain, keep on doing it day in, day out, keep on doing it. In the real deal, right? In the real game of life, it'll be easy. My final example is, let's say you're scared for a test. You're scared that the information will be difficult and you want to know the answer, or you'll be stressed. I actually had a convo with my brother about this because he had a test recently. And so I gave him some advice. I was like, visualize in detail, yourself sitting down, what chair it is. You're looking at the clock on the left, there's not a lot of time. You're stuck on a question and your brain is telling you this is difficult, like I'm gonna fail. But then something hits and you're like, wait, I got this. And you're visualizing that, you're seeing that in great detail. And you're like, okay, I got, like it's C, like it's definitely C, it's easy. Like I knew this the whole time. I didn't need to be stressed. So again, whatever you're struggling with, this could be school, work, life, taking action is difficult for you. So you visualize yourself doing that millions of times, and then real life would be so much easier. I hope this video helped you. I hope you can actually start incorporating visualizations and not just visualizing yourself in a Ferrari or on your private jet, which is cool. There's a time and place for that. Visualize the actions needed to get there. What do you need to do? So again, gentlemen, I hope this video helped you. We have a Discord full of guys on self-improvement just like you. So go join it. I'm there. You can talk to me. There's a lot of channels there. They can talk about your needs, questions, whatever you have about self-improvement. I'm there as well. So go check that out, join it. I'll see you boys there, and peace. Nice seeing you again.